And what Elisha is doing for a job before he enters into ministry, he's got 12 ox. What does an ox do? Well, you yoke them together and they plow your field. You're a farmer. So you're a rancher caring for your livestock and a farmer plowing your field. And the question is, well, how in the world is that guy prepared for ministry? Sometimes the Bible colleges and seminaries are run by Jezebel and Ahab. Sometimes the teaching is anti-God, not pro-God. Sometimes the people who get sent into ministry are not sent by the Lord. In that day, Jezebel closed all the Bible teaching schools, canceled, killed the prophets. So if you went to school to study religion, you were going to get demonism. The same is true in many places. I went to a good school. I've got a master's degree in Bible. But if Elisha had spent years every day without any technology in the field, what was he doing? Spending time in God's presence and listening. You wonder, how can plowing a field prepare a guy for ministry? Well, if he's in God's presence, singing, praying, and listening, those years are not just for farming, but to be preparing for prophetic ministry. I didn't mean to share this. I'll just share a quick analogy. Some years ago, I was a brand new Christian, and I got into one of my, I think it was my first men's Bible study. And they said, hey, we've got a group for all you college guys. I was like, I don't want to go to that. They don't know what they're doing. Do you have any grown men? I want to go to that Bible study. So I went to the grown men Bible study, and I showed up, and there were a bunch of good men, and they were much older, married kids, grandkids, seasoned men of God. And there was one guy, I just thought of him, he hardly ever said anything, but as soon as he did, everybody literally got quiet and grabbed a pen. Whatever he said, like, we're writing that down. And so I'll never forget, he was a very quiet, humble, unassuming man, but when he spoke, it was golden wisdom. Like that was from the Lord. So I went up to him afterward. He's literally wearing overalls, good old guy. I said, what do you do? He said, I'm a farmer. I'm a wheat farmer. We were in a college town in the middle of the wheat fields. I said, well, tell me about, how did you learn the Bible? He said, I didn't graduate from high school. I said, so you're not formally educated? He said, nope. I said, well, what do you do? He said, well, I've been working my dad's farm since I was a little boy, and then I inherited the farm, and so I've been plowing the fields my whole life. And I said, what do you do? This is a long time ago. He said, I have the Bible on cassette. He said, so pretty much every day of my life, there's nobody out there, there's nobody to talk to. So I just listen to the Bible and I talk to the Lord. I'm in the presence of one of the holiest men I've ever met in my entire life. And he didn't come from an institution, he came from a tractor. Because he spent time in God's presence. And he spent time in God's word. Elisha's a man like that. If he showed up with his resume, he's like, well, I'm good with ox, and I can plow a straight line. Can I be your senior pastor? No, you don't qualify. No, instead it's, what's your relationship with the Lord? Because here's what I don't think. I think oftentimes in ministry, we call the trained, and I think God would rather that we train the called. He doesn't yet have the training, but he has the calling. Guess who's going to train him? Elijah. And what he does then, he drops his entire business. Once you burn your, what's it called? Your yoke, thank you. I should have studied that this week. I got busy. Once you burn your yoke and you eat your ox, you're out of business. You're like, I'm all in. This is like when Jesus comes along and he tells the disciples, come follow me. What do they do with their fishing nets? They're gone. They walk away from everything. He walks away from, what he's saying is this, I will not turn back. Once God has called me, I literally have slaughtered my oxen. I've given myself wholly to the work of the Lord. That's Elisha. Now what's amazing about him, he goes on to have 60 years of effective ministry. 60 years. What God is going to do is have him and Elijah be together like a father and a son, and he's called, now Elijah is going to train and prepare him. This is a failure in my early years as a pastor. I knew the Lord's calling, but I didn't wait for the Lord's timing. And so I was aggressive and ambitious, and I got ahead of God's timing. It would have served me very well to find my Elijah and be under that man of God for an extended period of time. As a result, I said and did things as a young man that I regret. And as a result, I have a heart to raise up young men so that they don't find the same landmines that I found by driving over them. That's kind of my heart. Okay. If you're a young man who wants to serve the Lord, find an older man who is faithfully serving the Lord and just submit to his authority and learn humbly and be patient. And when it's time, God will send you into your ministry. God does that for Elisha, but then he has 60 years of faithfulness, which is really quite incredible.
Howdy, Pastor Mark here. Thanks for viewing the clip. And if you'd like the entire sermon, we've got it ready to go.